There are moments in life when it feels as though nothing is moving, when silence stretches endlessly, and we begin to wonder if our time will ever come. But Carl Jung once reminded us that the psyche is always preparing us beneath the surface, guiding us through shadow and struggle, until we are ready to meet the life that awaits us. What appears as delay is often the unconscious at work, aligning us with the deeper rhythm of existence. This speech is about that turning point, the moment when the waiting ends, when what has been hidden suddenly appears, when it is finally your turn. And the truth is, you will not be the same person who first began the waiting. You will have been shaped, tested, and refined in ways you could not see, so that when your season arrives, you are not only given the chance, you are ready to live it fully. Because in the psychology of the human journey, timing is never random. It is the meeting point of inner readiness and outer opportunity. And when those two finally align, what once felt distant will stand before you, asking only one thing of you: the courage to step into it. When you look at your life and wonder why certain doors remain closed, why certain opportunities seem to slip just beyond your reach, it is not because life has forgotten you or overlooked your worth. It is because timing is not a mistake, and the rhythm of your journey is not random. There are moments when the things you desire most are held back, not to deny you, but to preserve you, to protect you from receiving what you are not yet prepared to carry. Think of it as life's way of saying, "Not yet, because you are still being shaped for this." Many become impatient with waiting. They see the silence of life as rejection, the delay as proof that they are unworthy, or that what they dream of will never arrive. But waiting is not rejection. It is refinement. What you call delay is often the unseen work of preparation. If something came to you before its time, it could crush you instead of lift you. A great gift received too early can feel like a burden. A position you are not ready to step into can expose your weaknesses instead of reveal your strengths. Timing is the invisible guardian that ensures that when what is meant for you arrives, it does not destroy you but elevates you. There is a rhythm woven into existence, and you are a part of it. The tree does not blossom in winter, though the seed lies waiting beneath the soil. The flower does not force itself open before the season calls it forward. There is a perfect moment for the seed to break open, for the bud to unfold, and for the fruit to ripen. This rhythm is not hurried, and it is not careless. It is precise. You, too, are bound to this rhythm, though you may not always recognize it. Life withholds until the hour when your growth and your calling align, and then, suddenly, what once felt distant appears before you as if it had been waiting all along. You might ask, why not sooner? Why must I endure the ache of waiting? Because sooner is often too soon. The heart requires maturity, the mind requires depth, and the spirit requires endurance. Each struggle you endure in the meantime, each unanswered question, each disappointment, is not wasted time. It is the shaping of you. The delay is not the absence of your destiny, it is the construction of it within you. Just as a sculptor chisels away at the stone long before the statue is revealed, life is chiseling away at you, removing what does not belong, strengthening what must endure, and preparing you for the weight of what you will one day carry. Think of how many times you believed you were ready, only to look back later and realize that you were not. The person you were 5 years ago could not have handled what you are preparing to receive now, and the person you are today is still unfolding toward a greater version of yourself. Life is patient, even when you are not, because it knows what you are becoming. The doors that remain closed are not locked forever. They are simply waiting for the moment when you can walk through them without being broken by what lies on the other side. What is meant for you does not pass you by, but it does not arrive on demand either. It arrives when the soil of your soul has been made ready. This is why envy and comparison are dangerous, because they tempt you to measure your journey against another's season. You see someone else blossom, and you think you are behind. But you are not behind, you are simply in winter while they are in spring. And when your season turns, no force can stop what has been prepared for you. So the hidden timing of life is not an enemy, though it may frustrate you. It is a teacher. It teaches patience, humility, and faith. It teaches you to trust the unseen, to believe that your path is unfolding even when it feels still. It teaches you to look inward, to discover strength you did not know you had, and to wait without despair. And when at last the time comes, when it is finally your turn, you will see that the waiting was not empty. It was necessary. Because what is truly yours will never arrive too early, and it will never arrive too late. It will show up exactly when it is meant to, and not a moment sooner. There is a stage in every journey that feels invisible to the outside world, and often even to yourself. It is the stage where nothing seems to be happening, where the silence is heavy, and the progress is hidden beneath the surface. It is tempting to believe that this stillness is wasted time, that the absence of visible results means you are stuck. But in truth, this hidden stage is where the deepest work is being done. It is the preparation phase, the unseen shaping of your character and spirit before your life rises into the light. Think of a seed buried in the soil. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. The earth looks unchanged, lifeless even. But within that darkness, something powerful is unfolding. The seed is breaking open, forming roots, drawing strength from the soil, anchoring itself so that when it finally pushes above the ground, it can endure the wind and the storms. Without that hidden work, the seed would never become a tree. And so it is with you. The seasons where you feel unseen, overlooked, or forgotten are not punishments. They are preparation. This stage demands patience, because it challenges your desire for recognition and progress. You may feel the pressure of time, the voices of comparison, or the weight of your own expectations, whispering that you should be further along. But if you could see the truth, you would recognize that what feels like waiting is the very process that makes you capable of carrying what is coming. You are not just waiting for life to change. You are being changed for life. Often, people ask for growth, but resist the conditions that make growth possible. They want strength without struggle, clarity without confusion, resilience without hardship. Yet it is precisely through struggle, confusion, and hardship that these qualities are formed. The soil of preparation is not always comfortable, but it is necessary. Just as the body grows stronger by resistance, the spirit grows deeper by enduring what feels like silence. What happens in the unseen seasons is what sustains you when the visible seasons arrive. Imagine receiving the opportunity of your dreams without the endurance to hold it, or stepping into a role of influence without the humility to carry it. Imagine gaining love without the maturity to nurture it. These moments would collapse, not because the gift was wrong, but because the foundation was weak. The hidden phase builds that foundation. It crafts endurance, resilience, and depth that cannot be given to you in any other way. When you are in this season, it is easy to misinterpret it as abandonment. You may feel that life has overlooked you, that others are moving forward while you remain behind. But this is an illusion. Growth is taking place beneath the surface, and though you cannot yet see the fruits, they are forming. The roots are reaching deeper, and every quiet moment is storing strength within you. There is more happening in your stillness than you realize. Preparation is not glamorous. It does not attract applause or recognition. Few will notice the long nights, the private battles, the quiet choices you make when no one is watching. Yet these are the very moments that shape your destiny. They are like the roots of the tree, hidden but essential, unseen but powerful. Without them, there would be nothing to hold you upright. When your season of visibility arrives, you will look back one day and understand why this season was necessary. You will see that the strength you carry, the wisdom you speak, the resilience you embody, were all born in the silent hours of preparation. You will realize that what once felt like delay was actually the construction of your future. The very struggles that seemed meaningless will reveal themselves as the exact training you needed to step into your turn. The challenge is to remain faithful in this hidden phase, to keep planting seeds of discipline, courage, and hope even when no one applauds you. To trust that the soil is doing its work, that your roots are growing, that the silence is not empty but alive with unseen progress. If you can hold steady here, if you can resist the urge to give up before the breakthrough, then when your season comes, you will not only rise, you will endure. So the next time you find yourself in the silence, remember the seed in the soil. Remember that invisibility does not mean inactivity. And remember that when life seems still, the most important work may be happening within you. Because it is in the dark, hidden seasons that the foundation for your future is built. Trust is perhaps the hardest thing to offer when you cannot see the path ahead. The human mind longs for certainty, for signs, for something visible to hold on to. Yet the deepest movements of life often happen beyond the range of your eyes. The most significant shifts take place in silence, where you cannot measure them, where you cannot predict them, where you cannot control them. This is why learning to trust the invisible process is so essential. Because the unseen does not mean the unreal, and what is hidden does not mean it is absent. There are rhythms in existence that are older than you, patterns that move with a precision you may not always understand. Day follows night, seasons return without fail, tides rise and fall. The stars take their places in the sky. You cannot see the mechanisms behind these cycles, yet you rely on them with certainty. You trust that the sun will rise tomorrow, even though you cannot command it to do so. In the same way, your life is woven into cycles that you may not comprehend, but that are nonetheless real. When it feels like nothing is happening, it may simply be the night before your dawn. When you think all has been lost, it may be the winter that must pass before your spring. To live without trust in this deeper order is to live in constant frustration, always feeling behind, always fearing that what you long for will not arrive. But when you begin to trust, something remarkable happens. You release the tension of control, and you open yourself to the flow of life. You begin to recognize that not everything must be forced, that some things unfold naturally when you are aligned within yourself. You start to notice patterns, subtle connections, meaningful coincidences that seem to guide you forward at precisely the right moment. What once felt random begins to feel purposeful. You may have already experienced moments like this. Perhaps you met someone at the exact time you needed their presence. Perhaps an opportunity appeared just as you were ready to take it. Perhaps a door closed only to reveal another that led you closer to where you were meant to be. At the time, it may have felt accidental. But later you realized it carried a kind of order that you could not have orchestrated on your own. These moments are not accidents. They are signals that life has its own intelligence, its own timing, its own way of arranging what belongs to you. But here lies the challenge. You cannot summon these moments by demand, and you cannot predict their arrival. You can only prepare yourself inwardly so that when they come, you are able to recognize them. Trust is not passive. It is active alignment. It is the choice to cultivate patience, clarity, and resilience while you wait. It is the willingness to keep walking, even when you do not yet see the destination. Trust is the soil in which these synchronicities can root themselves. Without it, you dismiss them as chance, overlook their meaning, or rush past them without noticing. There will be times when everything in you wants to force progress, when you want to tear open the bud before it is ready to bloom. You will feel restless in the silence, angry at the delay, afraid that life has forgotten you. And in those moments, trust will feel like weakness. But it is not weakness. It is strength. It is the refusal to surrender to fear, the decision to believe in the order of things, even when you cannot see it. To trust is to stand firm in the unseen, to believe that your journey is unfolding even in silence, and that the rhythm of life has not left you behind. The invisible process is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to guide you into deeper awareness. When you learn to trust it, you begin to see life differently. The closed doors no longer feel like rejection but redirection. The delays no longer feel like wasted time but preparation. The coincidences no longer feel random but intentional. Trust transforms the way you move through life. Instead of clinging in desperation, you walk with steadiness. Instead of fearing what you cannot see, you find strength in knowing that what is unseen is not absent. So when you are tempted to despair in the silence, remember that the unseen is alive with possibility. Remember that life is arranging itself in ways you cannot yet perceive. And remember that trust is not about waiting helplessly. It is about preparing inwardly for the moment when the hidden becomes visible. Because the invisible process is not against you. It is carrying you toward the moment when everything aligns. Before anything significant arrives in your life, there is almost always a test. It comes quietly, sometimes disguised as disappointment, sometimes as loss, sometimes as an overwhelming wave of doubt. Just when you are closest to what you've been waiting for, it may feel as if everything is falling apart. This is not because life is cruel, or because destiny has slipped from your grasp, but because there is a final refining that takes place before the arrival of what is truly yours. The test comes to ask you one question. Are you ready to hold what you've been asking for? It is not meant to punish you, but to strengthen you. It presses on your fears. It stirs up your insecurities. It forces you to confront the places within you that still hesitate, the places that still do not believe you are worthy. If this test did not come, you might step into your breakthrough unprepared, carrying doubt where you need confidence, hesitation where you need courage, weakness where you need resilience. The test is the fire that burns away what cannot go with you. Think of how often, just before you grew stronger, you faced moments that nearly broke you. Before clarity, there was confusion. Before love, there was loneliness. Before freedom, there was restraint. It is almost as though life requires a final resistance before it releases the very thing you have longed for. And that resistance, painful as it may be, is a sign that you are closer than you realize. The struggle at the end is the proof that you are on the threshold of something new. Yet it is in this stage that many turn back. They mistake the test for rejection, the challenge for a closed door. They let go just before their turn arrives, believing the struggle means they have failed. But the truth is that the test is not a sign of failure. It is the final lesson. It is there to show you what still needs to be refined, to give you the chance to stand firm, to remind you of the strength you already carry. Those who endure the test walk into their season, not just hopeful, but ready. The test may come as silence, where nothing seems to move no matter how hard you try. It may come as opposition, where obstacles appear out of nowhere to block your progress. It may come as doubt, where your own mind becomes your greatest enemy. These are not coincidences, they are thresholds, and the way you respond determines whether you step forward or retreat. If you allow the silence to convince you that nothing is happening, you will give up too soon. If you let opposition persuade you that you are not strong enough, you will walk away. If you allow doubt to drown your inner voice, you will miss the moment when the door was about to open. But if you endure, if you choose to stand steady in the face of silence, to push forward in the face of obstacles, to silence the voices of doubt within you, then the test transforms you. It does not just prepare you for what is coming, it proves to you that you are already stronger than you once believed. It gives you the certainty that when your turn arrives, you are not simply hoping you can carry it. You know you can. This is why the test is so important. It is not about proving anything to life. It is about proving something to yourself. You need to know, beyond any doubt, that you can withstand pressure, that you can walk through resistance, that you can endure even when everything in you wants to quit. Without that knowledge, the very blessings you receive could feel fragile. With it, you carry yourself differently. You step into your turn with confidence, resilience, and a quiet strength that cannot be shaken. So when the test comes, do not curse it. Do not believe it means you have been abandoned or forgotten. Recognize it for what it is, the final stretching before the release, the last storm before the calm, the sharpening before the moment of arrival. Endure it with patience, face it with courage, and let it strip away the last pieces of fear within you. Because the test is not there to stop you. It is there to make sure you are ready when the door finally opens. There comes a moment in every journey when things begin to align, when what once felt distant suddenly comes within reach. It does not happen with noise or grand announcements. It happens almost quietly, as though life has been arranging the pieces in secret and then, without warning, lays them all before you. Opportunities appear, conversations unfold, people step into your path, and events that once felt scattered begin to connect. What once required forcing begins to flow. What once confused you begins to make sense. This is the moment of alignment, when the outer world finally mirrors the inner growth you have undergone. For so long you may have pushed against closed doors, exhausted yourself trying to make things happen before their time. You may have carried the frustration of delay, the doubt that whispered you were forgotten, the heaviness of waiting in silence. Yet when alignment comes, you realize why it all had to unfold as it did. The strength you built in the waiting, the lessons you gathered in the struggle, the resilience formed in the silence, all of it becomes the foundation for this season. Without those hidden seasons, you would not recognize the flow when it arrived. You might have mistaken it for chance, or even overlooked it entirely. Alignment has a rhythm to it, and you can feel it when it begins. A sense of ease replaces the old weight. You no longer chase in desperation. You notice that the right opportunities begin to meet you halfway. The timing feels precise, almost too precise to be explained by chance. The same way nature knows when to bring forth blossoms in spring, your life knows when to open its own season. It is not random. It is a design. And when you have grown into the person capable of carrying it, it reveals itself. This is why it is so important to pay attention. Alignment is not always loud. Sometimes it appears in subtle whispers: a chance meeting, a sudden clarity, an idea that refuses to let you go. Other times it is a door that opens so effortlessly, you wonder why you ever struggled before. Life speaks in signs, in moments of convergence, in the quiet unfolding of paths you could never have planned. To recognize these moments, your heart must be awake. You must be willing to listen not just with your mind, but with your whole being. The danger is that in your impatience, you may miss it. You may still be so focused on what you thought it should look like that you fail to see what is right before you. Alignment rarely looks exactly as you imagined it. It comes in forms you may not expect, through people you did not predict, at times you did not plan. To recognize it, you must let go of rigid expectations and remain open to the way life reveals itself. The gift may not wear the wrapping you imagined, but it will be the gift you were meant to receive. Think of the times when something finally made sense, when the scattered pieces of your story suddenly fit together. The hardship you once cursed revealed its purpose. The detour you once resented showed you a better path. The delay you thought was denial revealed itself as perfect timing. These moments remind you that alignment is not just about opportunities arriving. It is about you being in the right state to embrace them. It is not enough for life to bring you what is yours. You must also be ready to recognize it, receive it, and rise to meet it. Alignment is not a guarantee of ease forever. It does not mean you will never face challenges again. But it does mean that the energy shifts, that you begin to walk with a sense of flow instead of constant resistance. It means that instead of endlessly striving, you begin to move in harmony with something greater. You stop forcing, and you start allowing. You stop doubting, and you start trusting. You stop feeling lost, and you begin to sense that you are exactly where you need to be. So when this moment comes, do not question whether you are worthy. Do not hesitate out of fear that you are unprepared. Remember that everything you endured, everything you carried, everything you learned was shaping you for this exact season. Life does not bring alignment by accident. It brings it when you are ready to stand in it fully. Because when it is your turn, you will not need to force it. It will flow, and you will know. When your season finally arrives, it does not announce itself with hesitation. It comes with a quiet certainty, a subtle but undeniable shift in the atmosphere of your life. The question then is not whether your turn will come. It will. The question is whether you will have the courage to step into it when it does. Far too often, people pray for the opportunity, long for the breakthrough, and wait impatiently for the moment, only to shrink back in fear when it is finally offered to them. They question if they are truly ready, if they are truly capable, if they deserve what has been placed before them. But the truth is this: when the season arrives, you will never feel completely ready. You will not have every answer. You will not feel flawless. You will not be without doubt. And yet, that is the moment to move forward anyway. Owning your season requires you to trust the preparation you have endured. Every disappointment that strengthened you, every silence that tested you, every hardship that deepened you, they were all part of your becoming. You may not feel perfect, but you are not meant to be perfect. You are meant to be present, to be willing, to step into what is yours without running from it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the choice to act in spite of it. To own your turn is to let courage speak louder than hesitation. Think of how long you have waited, how long you have endured the unseen shaping of your soul. To hesitate now is to dishonor all that growth. The soil has been prepared, the roots have been established, the alignment has unfolded. What remains is for you to rise into it. If you let fear dictate your response, you risk letting the moment pass by, and moments like this do not return in the same way. Life brings them when you are ready, but it cannot force you to claim them. The door may open, but you must choose to walk through it. There will be voices, both within and around you, that try to convince you to step back. Doubt will whisper that you are not strong enough. Fear will remind you of every failure in your past. Others may project their own insecurities onto you, urging caution, questioning your readiness. But you must remember, these voices are echoes of an old self, a self that belonged to the waiting season, not the rising one. You cannot let those voices dictate your steps now. To own your season, you must listen instead to the deeper knowing within you, the quiet recognition that this is your moment. It will not be easy. Growth never is. But difficulty is not a signal to retreat. It is proof that you are moving into new territory. You were not prepared to live a small life, hidden forever in the soil. You were prepared to break through, to rise into the light, to bear the fruit of all that has been cultivated within you. To do so requires boldness. It requires the willingness to be seen, to take responsibility, to carry the weight of what is yours without shrinking back. Do not wait for certainty before stepping forward. Certainty will never come. What comes instead is conviction, the sense that even if you do not know everything, you know enough to begin. And once you begin, life meets you on the path. The support you thought you lacked appears. The strength you doubted within yourself rises. The clarity you feared you would never find begins to unfold step by step. But none of this reveals itself until you take that first step into your season. This is why courage matters so deeply. It is the bridge between preparation and fulfillment, between waiting and living, between dreaming and becoming. Without courage, the season will pass you by, not because it was not meant for you, but because you refuse to claim it. With courage, you enter fully into the life that has been waiting for you all along. So when your turn comes, do not hesitate. Do not second guess what has been placed before you. Trust that the preparation was not in vain. Trust that the timing is not a mistake. Trust that you are stronger than the fear that lingers at the edge of your heart. And then, with courage, step into it fully. Because when your moment arrives, you must not hide from it. You must own it.